NFL's overtime rules. Now, both teams will get to touch the ball. Yay! It's fixed. Didn't need to happen, but now nobody can bitch. I guess that's the news that came out of the owners' meetings the other day. Of course, regular season overtime will still only be played. Will still be played the old way. So in essence, if you think about it, you're going to play the game one way during the regular season and another way during the postseason. I mean, come on. Here's my thing. Once again, it comes down to, is defense half a game or is it not? The Jagoff podcast crew are substituting a wiffle ball home run derby for what was supposed to be opening day on March 31st at Mike's Beer Bar. Come be a part of the Jagoff podcast recording and donate $5 to try and win the grand prize, including Pirates tickets, by hitting the longest wiffle ball home run. 100% of your donation will be given to the Pirates charities. Details at 937thefan.com. By the way, Alan Saunders brought to you on the Fan Hotline. Presented by Nemacolin. Around every corner, Nemacolin creates real-life magic for guests. So, to me, is defense half the game or not? And if it is, then what are we talking about here? I've never understood the idea, to me, that somehow it's unreasonable to expect the defense to get a stop. I don't get it. I really don't. The defense should go get a stop. And that's what I liked about it before. People say, oh, well, you're deciding the game. You're deciding the game by a coin flip. No, you're not. You're deciding the game because your team couldn't get a stop. Your team's favorite defense, which is half the game, could not get a stop. And if that's not the case, then I'll tell you what we should do. How about we just basically forget about defense and let's just make it a 7-on-7 drill. I mean, at the end of the day, your defense has to get a stop. That's what I liked about the old overtime format. So now, really, in some ways, doesn't it favor the team that now the overtime format really favors the other team now? A lot. Now, I would say with the new overtime rules in the playoffs, you probably now are going to defer. Let the other team get the ball first. Why not? Because that way you can see what you need. If you can get a stop, then you can win with a field goal. If the other team scores a touchdown, you could decide, hey, if we score, we're going to go for 2 to win the game. Right? I think that's the most important thing. That's the biggest thing to me. It really is. You have, no reason now not to kick the ball because everybody's going to get a chance. They're all, both teams are going to get a chance. So now the strategy is going to change probably. I would assume now teams will probably choose to go on defense first. Because if you go on defense first, then guess what? You know what the other team did. It's the concept in the college game, only we're kicking off and playing, full field. But in the college game, if you win the coin flip in overtime, you go on defense first. That way, if you get a stop, you know all you need is a field goal. That way, if they kick a field goal, you know you can still win the game with a touchdown, but all you need is a field goal. So, on 4th and 7 from the 13-yard line, you don't have to go for it because, hey, the field goal will send it to the next overtime. So it completely changes the strategy in overtime in a lot of ways, and now the second team to get the ball has the advantage. And that's the thing I've said consistently all along. There's no easy way to do overtime where it's going to be 100% completely fair. Because of the nature of football. It's the only sport where I guess baseball too, but baseball, there's an inherent advantage for the home team because, again, you want to have the opportunity to bat last, so you know what you need to do. If you get somebody on second, your first guy hits a double, what happens? You're down one. A lot of times you bunt them over to the third and then try and knock them in to at least tie the game. So my point is, it's always good, but in football, the thing about it is because the offense and the defense aren't the same people, it's difficult to make it 100% fair. In hockey, guess what? The same 5 guys that are playing defense are playing offense. In basketball, the same 5 guys that are playing defense are playing offense. I know. Oh, well, that's not true. There's defensemen. Oh, really? Defensemen don't score? Forwards don't block shots? Come on, man. That's my point. In football, it's difficult to make it fair because you have the offensive unit on and the other team's defense and the other team's offense is off and the other team's defense is off. So to me, if you think about it, and really what happens, if you really think about it, it is important. It is important to remember that the only thing that this rule change does, it does 2 things. One, all the crybabies who whine and cry because, Aaron Rodgers never got to touch the ball in overtime or whatever. Josh Allen never got to touch the ball in overtime. All of those people go away immediately, right? And the other part of it is both teams got to touch the ball. But now the advantage, guess what? The advantage goes back to the defense.